We may not have had clean water earlier this week, but we definitely did have LaSalle sports. We can't guarantee the quality will be any better, but watching this episode of SportsLine might take your mind off how thirsty you are. Props to Siobhan for that intro. Hello, I'm Libby Gilliland.
And I'm Angela Zarrow. My name may look familiar to you from the show's credits, but I decided this week to be in front of the camera. Surprise! You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explore Athletics SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. We have all the upcoming games from this week coming up and upcoming games you can look forward to.
And later, Justin Brunow will join Siobhan for the newest segment of On the Sidelines.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Elle Mancini was named the Atlantic 10 Female Track Performer of the Week. After a record-breaking performance at the Rally Relays, her time of 32 minutes and 43.71 seconds in the 10K ranks her first in the conference, second in the nation, and broke the school record set all the way back in 2006.
Number 2, men's soccer will host the Bill Wilkinson Memorial Golf Outing on May 8th this year. The event will take place at Tullamore Country Club, and the link to register for the event is live on goexplorers.com.
Number 3, the 2023 LaSalle Athletics EXPs will be taking place on April 18th. This athletic awards ceremony will award top performers and seniors as the athletics come to an end.
So a lot going on in the world of athletics this week, and welcome to the desk, Ange. Thrilled to have you. So let's start with Elle Mancini, our queen of track and field, killing it this week, breaking a school record. First in the conference, second in the nation. You really can't do much better than that. And track overall is just having an incredible season as they move from indoor to outdoor.
As I was telling Libby, it's so exciting. Every week we were like, oh, what are they going to do next? What record are they going to break? Because they seem to be killing it.
Yes, absolutely. They are killing it, and they will continue to kill it. And the Bill Wilkinson Golf Outing, they are taking registrations now. That's a very exciting event for men's soccer, and it is at our home golf course for the men's and women's team, Tullamore. It's a super tight golf course. There's a heck of a lot of trees, so if you go out there, bring a lot of golf balls, but it's a super fun track to play, very nice course, and a great staff, so definitely sign up if you're interested in the game and to support men's soccer. And the EXPs are happening this year, which is really exciting for all of our athletes to get awarded. And that is it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. The men's soccer team played their second spring season game this past week in a matchup against Temple. A very evenly matched first half led to no score at halftime. While the halftime score may not have showed it, it was heavily dominated by the Explorers. Their lone second half goal would come from a penalty kick drawn by Andrew Rosenbaum, in which Amari Ezra would ultimately net in from 18 yards out. That goal would be enough to win the game, and the Explorers defense held the Owls to 0 shots on goal. It was a very encouraging win for the Explorers, knocking off one of their biggest foes in the Big Five. The Explorers' next game will take place on Friday at their home stadium against another Big Five opponent, the Penn Quakers. The game will kick off at 7 p.m.
Water polo kicked off their set of home matches Saturday against VMI. Madeline Corper started things off with back-to-back goals, followed by 4 more LaSalle goals to give the Explorers a 6-0 lead. A penalty would give VMI 1 goal, but with 30 seconds left, Francesca Coe would score another goal to keep LaSalle at a 6-goal lead. In the second frame, LaSalle held VMI scoreless while adding 3 more goals to keep the Explorers ahead 10-1. At the end of the first half, the third period, LaSalle went on a 4-0 run before VMI scored another goal with 30 seconds remaining. For the final 8 minutes of the game, the teams would trade goals and the Explorers would end up winning 17-6. Shanna Zuanich would lead the scoring with 4 goals, while Coe and Corper would follow with 3 goals apiece. Sophia Curtis, Coe, and Zuanich recorded a team high of 3 steals each as well.
Their next matchup of the weekend was against conference leader Wagner. A great defensive performance left the game scoreless for the first 6 minutes. Finally, Wagner and LaSalle both scored a goal each. Wagner went on a 3-0 run, stopped by Zuanich, who managed a goal near the end of the half. The teams traded goals in the third quarter, but Wagner was able to hold on to their large lead. LaSalle went into the fourth down 11-6. A quick goal by Corper, helped by a misplaced goalie, cut the deficit, but Wagner went on to score back-to-back goals. Down 5, the Explorers weren't done yet. Casey, Malone, Coe, and Zuanich went on an offensive run, scoring goals to cut the lead to 3. Unfortunately, they couldn't gain a larger advantage and fell 15-12. Next up was Philly rival Villanova. This game began with quick goals by both teams. After that, both teams didn't score for 6.5 minutes until Coe and Tatum Lomax ended the drought with back-to-back goals. 2 Wildcat goals before the end of the second tied the game up heading into half. The Explorers came out of halftime strong with 2 quick goals to begin their lead. Villanova responded and tied the game up at 5. LaSalle was able to edge them out at the end of the third, scoring 2 more goals. Nova tied it up once again in the fourth. With a man-up advantage, the Wildcats shot on goal for the win. Unfortunately, they found the back of the net, and LaSalle took a 9-8 loss.
Lacrosse took on the VCU on Saturday. The Explorers took the lead early with Alana Lathan clinching a goal after a free position opportunity. The Rams tied up, but shortly after, Katie Johnson took the lead back for the Explorers. VCU then proceeded to go on a 7-goal run. 2 goals from Ellen Stickney and Tori Rowland helped to cut the Rams' lead to 4. VCU would go on another 4-goal run, however, bringing the score to 12-4. Going on to the second half, 1 lone goal from Maddie Henderson in the third quarter wouldn't be enough, and the Explorers would fall to the Rams 16-5.
LaSalle's track and field team had a historic day over the weekend at the Raleigh Relays, with 2 Explorers finishing top 3 in events and 3 earning top times in the A10. For the women, Elle Mancini started off the day on fire, finishing third in the women's 10K with a time of 32 minutes and 43.71 seconds. Her time was not only first for the A10, but it also broke the previous LaSalle record for the event set by Rachel Pappen in 2006. Christine Mancini also performed well in the women's 1500 meter, finishing with a time of 4 minutes and 30.1 seconds, which placed her 65th in the 185-person field at the top of the leaderboard for the Atlantic 10. For the men, Liam Rivard also finished third in the men's 800 meter, clocking in with a time of 1 minute and 49.40 seconds. McCallum Rowe and James Pitak found success as well in the men's 5K event. Rowe finished with a time of 14 minutes and 14.20 seconds, which marked a new personal best and a 9th-time school history record, as well as the second in the conference, while Patak's time of 14 minutes and 26.72 seconds puts him 4th for the A10 leaderboard. So a lot of LaSalle athletics this week and a lot of great performances from our team. I have to start with water polo. They had their first and only set of games at Kirkpool at home this weekend. I actually got to go to a game. They are so fun to watch. They played that first game, blew them out of the water, incredible performance, and they moved on to Wagner, which in the scoring column they lost, but it was such a great game. They fought back so hard. Water polo is just such a fascinating sport to watch. They're so athletic and so impressive, and this team works together really well. So seeing them perform that well against the conference leader Wagner was really encouraging. And with the Villanova game, they also had a great performance. Almost won. They probably should have won, but a last-minute goal allowed them to lose. But again, great performance at home, and they had a senior night against Villanova too, so that was great for the seniors. And track, we're going to go back to them because incredible performance from the women's side and the men's side. The Mancini sisters killing it as always. And on the men's side, a really great performance for them at the Raleigh Relays, having a historic day.
Mm-hmm. And I really like how we always see the same names every week, and it's really exciting to see the new times for each new relay and meets.
Yeah, absolutely. And men's soccer with their spring schedule, maybe not as important as the fall schedule, but a great performance by them beating Temple, which is a rival here in Philly. To allow them no shots on goal is incredibly impressive, and 1 goal won the game. So very defensive, great performance by LaSalle and the guys, and hopefully that gives them a little bit of confidence heading into the rest of this season and into next. So we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Justin Brunow sits down with Siobhan to talk men's soccer.
Oh, hey LaSalle TV. Welcome to the LaSalle TV studio. Let's go take a tour. All right, so this is our main studio. This is where all the magic happens. We got all 5 cameras right here. We got our camera operators. Hey, can you switch to camera 3, please?
Switch it off to camera 3 right now. Good.
This is where our talent sits for Sports Talk and SportsLine. That's our set for it. All right, so now let's go take a tour of the control room. That's where all the magic happens behind the scenes. So this right here, we have video. We have graphics right over here. This is the technical director. They control all the cameras.
2, 1,
right here, we have the director. Right over here, we have audio. Over here, we have the teleprompter. All right, well, that's all for the tour of the LaSalle TV studio. Thanks for coming by. See ya.
People join Walk MS to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. Walk MS brings communities together, creating teams with friends, loved ones, and coworkers to rally around those we care about and end MS forever. Together, we can change the world for people with MS. Register today at walkms.org.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. With the spring season in full swing for men's soccer, Siobhan got the chance to sit down with senior Justin Brunow to talk about their slate of games.
Hello, I'm Siobhan Nolan, joining you for my first On the Sidelines interview in quite a while, and I'm very happy to be joining you guys back with Justin Brunow of the LaSalle men's soccer team. So Justin, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So just a little bit about you. You're from New Jersey. You have quite an extensive list of high school achievements, so definitely had your pick of the schools when it came time for college recruitment. What made you pick LaSalle?
So there were actually a couple different factors that came into it, and the first thing being I didn't want to go too far away from home, but I wanted to be far enough to where I felt like I was far enough from home. But in case of an emergency, I could go home. My parents could still come watch my games. And just the overall experience that I had from a recruitment standpoint was extremely good. And I met the people, and the other schools I visited, like, it really wasn't a family as much as LaSalle was. And I definitely think that the smaller school definitely was part of the reason why I did feel like such a close-knit family compared to a lot of other places.
Yeah, and you came into LaSalle in 2020, which we know, crazy year for everyone. And a lot of the guys that you came in with in your recruitment class aren't here anymore. So you had that very unique bonding experience since it was the COVID times. And so now that you don't have a lot of those guys that you had before, how has that affected your integration in the team and who you're close with now?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely been hard, especially at times, because all 3, 4 of my housemates that I live with every year have just kind of gone.
Yeah.
And now they've all been gone. And I've been living with Zach now, who has been my longest standing roommate of a year. So it's definitely been hard. It feels like almost every year you almost have to form new relationships with people. You think you know people on your team, but it's an entirely different relationship when you're living with them compared to on the field.
Yeah, and you know, as that evolution goes on, you have to adjust to new teammates, you've had to adjust to a new coach, so it's a lot of just evolution that you've been going through. So how would you describe your evolution personally and the team's evolution from the time you came to now?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a process through myself and my team. With Taylor coming in, we all knew that it was going to be a lot different than it was with our old coach. And from a player standpoint, I definitely had a lot of growth through that. My freshman year was okay, and I got some playing time, but overall, like, there was definitely growing pains throughout that. And a lot of people like see those growing pains throughout their years, but having a new coach makes you have to go through them quicker. And I think that myself and our team have done a really good job with that. And part of that is because Taylor is a younger coach compared to our last. He understands us on our age level compared to our last coach did. So I definitely think that us as a team have done very good with those growing pains.
Yeah, and with those growing pains, you guys made the A10 tournament this past season, which was a huge accomplishment, facing off against a team like Duquesne and just being in that space. What is that like for guys who have never experienced that tournament setting before, and especially for a relatively still new coach like Taylor?
It's an experience, even for me in my third year here. The atmosphere is completely different. You know that there's a lot more on line for yourself and what you're representing, and then your school as well. You know you have to put out the best product possible, and it's at that point of the year where you've been going since August, and it's really all or nothing at that point. So I definitely think that, especially for the younger kids, having the right mentality with that, and those games were really good for us this year, and I think that a lot of our freshmen, because we do have a lot, stepped up big time.
And because you have so many freshmen, even as a junior, you're one of the more experienced guys on this team. You know, there's a leadership group that is kind of being put together. So how do you feel as one of the older guys who, even if you're not officially named as a captain, is still very much in that leadership role?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to be able to be in that situation, especially as a junior. And I think that knowing that throughout these 3 years I've had a lot of different growing pains, and so has Aymar, who's been with me throughout the whole thing, who also is in the leadership group, and same with Colton. I think that we can give a lot of perspective on certain things within the team and within college soccer that, you know, a lot of people don't have right now, especially with such a young team.
Yeah, and college soccer is obviously D1. It's a lot. You also do USL2, semi-professional in the summer. So what is that experience like to go from playing D1 NCAA to the semi-professional league where you have players from all different, you know, age ranges and locations and different playing styles? Like how is that transition for you at the end of the season?
So I was very scared to do it my freshman year. I've heard a lot about it. The level's a completely different level in college itself, because instead of playing against kids just in your conference, you're not playing against the best kids throughout the entire country, which you might not be getting that exposure with the kids in the conference. But I think that the league in a whole is very good. It's very good for your growth and improvement, and I do think that USL2 has helped me kind of get through those growing pains quicker than I would if I didn't play it.
And you've played against some of your LaSalle teammates in USL2. What is that like to face off against a guy that you're so used to playing with in practice?
It definitely has its benefits and like its downfalls. Like Pucci said, I played against Pucci. I know exactly how he defends, and he also knows how I attack. So as much as you want to be competitive and push yourself, it's also an aspect where you should be thankful that you're able to be in the position where you guys can play each other and still have it in a very competitive environment.
Who would you say is the hardest teammate you've had to face off against in USL2?
The hardest?
Yeah.
Probably Pucci, because I was going directly against him. But there's definitely, all of our teammates have been very good, and they all play at a very high level with USL2.
And then, you know, how does LaSalle prepare you for USL2 compared to what you see from kids in other schools? Like, how does LaSalle set you apart from the other guys in your team and make you stand out?
Yeah, so I definitely think that Taylor and our coaching staff does a very good job with fitness, but not only fitness, but growing as people in the spring. And I think that one of the biggest reasons why we can go into USL2 seasons as fit and as like healthy-minded is because of the environment that we're trying to build here. And the environment is just a very togetherness team, whether it's with community service or just stuff outside the field that brings us together. I think that really helps, you know, propel us into the USL2 season, and then the fitness part just is an extra as to what we can do in the summer.
Yeah, and your spring season is happening right now. You're facing off against some pretty strong opponents. How is it going for you so far, and what are you looking forward to as the spring season goes on? Yeah,
we just came off our first game against Temple, which was a 1-0 win. I think it was a big improvement from our first game. Our team is very we're still growing in the spring with how many freshmen are playing now, and we have to integrate our older people with our freshmen. And I think that's just been doing we're doing a really good job with that. And yeah, we have UPenn coming up tomorrow, which is a very good test for us because of their track record. But I just think that keeping a level head and making sure that everyone's on the same page during these games is crucial for us throughout the rest of the year. And also knowing that spring is a period for growth. It really won't determine much for us in the fall, but to be able to win these games or compete in these games to our highest ability in the spring is what matters the most.
And you mentioned your fall season coming up, and obviously there are going to be some adjustments with how many freshmen and seniors and older guys that you have to combine. But how are you feeling about the fall? It's your senior season, big deal, big strides are being made. So what are your hopes and ambitions for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the fall and see what we can bring. We have a lot of newcomers that are very good, and we're very excited to see how they're integrated into our team. But we also have some returning players that have been with us for a while. So it's always fun getting to meet these people and seeing how they can directly impact our program as fast as they can when they come in August.
And touching on an interview that we did with some of your teammates last season, we interviewed Pucci, who you mentioned earlier, and Dylan Kwasnick. And Dylan had you as a bit of a sleeper pick for best dressed in the team. Pucci disagreed because, as he put it, you wear the same beanie every day. Is that the beanie that you wear every day that he's referring to?
I have a couple different colors. It's
okay.
the same brand, but we do have a couple different colors of them.
So a little bit of consistency. So what are your thoughts, opinions? Do you agree? Do you have someone else you think is best dressed?
Yeah, I think if I had to pick, Pucci would be on the top of the list for best dressed. We both have a similar style, so I could see that in both ways, but everyone has their opinions. I do wear the beanie a lot, so whatever people think is fine.
It's good to have consistency in fashion and on the field as well. So we're very excited to see how the spring and fall seasons play out for you, Justin, and thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So that is it for this week's edition of On the Sidelines, and I will now send it back to the desk.
We're going to take one last break, and when we come back, we have all the upcoming games you can look forward to. Stay tuned.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I just missed the shuttle.
You never hit record!
I never hit record. I just got an F on my exam.
Is that you? Do you sit around bored all day? Do you want to watch television shows where you can look at the people and be like, I can be that. That's me. Well, you should check out LaSalle TV. That rhymes. We got entertainment news at Backstage Pass. We got regular news at LTV News. We got sports news at Sports Talk and SportsLine. And for those of you who really want some fun stuff, Q&A. Because down at LaSalle TV, we got a full buffet.
Thanks, LaSalle TV.
Thanks, LaSalle TV.
Thanks, LaSalle TV. I still miss my shuttle.
Meet Norm. He lives with anxiety, but with the help of this latest innovation from Be Normal, he can be normal, just like everyone else. With the swipe of a finger, you can project happiness, confidence, machismo. Why settle for being real when you can be normal? The Normal Maker, new from Be Normal. This item doesn't really work because there's no such thing as normal. We're all different. What we like, how our brains work. In fact, 1 in 5 of us live with mental illness. Don't filter who you are. Start by talking to someone you trust. And remember, there is no normal.
Welcome back. Explorer sports are back in action this week, so here's what you can look forward to. Women's lacrosse will take the field at McCarthy Stadium on Saturday, April 1st to take on St. Joe's. Women's and men's track and field will travel to the Big Five meet to compete on Saturday. And water polo will take on Siena and Iona on the 1st and Marist on April 2nd.
Men's golf will compete at the Columbia Spring Invitational on Monday the 3rd, while women's golf will travel to Maryland for their first event of the spring season, the Saturday the 1st and Sunday the 2nd.
So men's and women's golf back in action this week. Women with their first event heading up to Maryland. So down to Maryland. Very exciting for them regardless. So hopefully they can get a good start. We have a great team this year. A lot of new recruits coming in, and they played amazing last semester. So just hoping for that same success kind of leading into conferences. And track on a roll, like we've been talking about there, taking on their Big Five meet. Very, very exciting for them to compete against local teams.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how that will turn out.
Yeah, hopefully some more school records. I'm sure sure we'll have that. And I have to end the show with talking to you. You're on desk now.
I am.
You're always behind on graphics, and this girl works so hard during the week to get every single graphic, every picture, every letter that is up there for our viewers. So thank you, Ange, for all of that. The best graphics we have ever had on this show. Definitely goes to you. How does it feel to be on desk for the first time?
It's a little nerve-wracking, but other than that, I've been I know the script, I know the people, I've been seeing it every week, so just a matter of just getting used to like talking and
absolutely. So me and Siobhan unfortunately are graduating this year, so we gotta have some new people take over. So the show is in fantastic hands with Ange and Megan. So thank you all for all of your hard work. And that just about wraps it up for this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in for next week's coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions there.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Libby Gilliland.
And I'm Ange Lazaro. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.